All right, so with our yoga class today, I'm going to ask that we all start down on our mats, finding Shavasana, getting comfortable for the beginning of our practice together. What we want to do as we come into Shavasana, translated into corpse pose, is find a position that we can relax through the neck and shoulders, finding the flat part of our head, nose points up to the ceiling. We just open the palms, allowing the knuckles to rest on the ground. The hips open naturally. The toes may fall out slightly wider than the hips. And while we're here, we close our eyes and start to focus on our breathing. In and out through the nose. We notice the flow of the air coming in the nose. And we notice the flow of the air coming out of the nose. How does it feel today? Do we have a cold? Is it annoying? Breathing through the mouth if that is the case. Otherwise, taking those full, deep breaths, starting to engage through the diaphragm, noticing the rib cage and the stomach expanding each time we breathe in, and notice every part of our body just melting a little bit more as we breathe out. What I want us to notice also is if there are any thoughts wandering around the head, or if we're finding ourselves fidgeting or becoming distracted easily. If that's the case, just remind yourself it's okay. We want to, however, really pay attention to our body today. Our focus is on the present, right here, right now. Everything else that's important can wait until after. If you notice yourself getting distracted, I want you to really focus in on your breathing. Think about your inhale and think about your exhale. This is going to allow us to be a little bit more focused, attentive, and they'll help relax the nervous system. We usually get a better response out of our relaxation or stretching our muscles. Now, while we're here, I'd like us to take our arms, reach them long up above our head. Big stretch as we open through the shoulders, the chest, the ribs. Maybe we notice a deeper inhale. We can open the rib cage up just a little bit more. Notice how this feels. Do we need to stretch a little over to the right, maybe a little over to the left, work out some kinks? Just like in the morning time when you walk out of or jump out of your bed, and first you need to do just a couple big stretches here. And slowly we're going to release the arms, draw the knees into the chest, give ourselves a nice big hug, holding those knees into the belly, and gently start to rock side to side. Nice and easy. Holding knees to chest. Go ahead and roll the ankles, working through the feet. Any cricks or cracks? Is it noisy today, or does it feel nice? Is it quiet? Just being aware of everything, not necessarily needing to fix it. Now we'll keep a hold of our right knee, lowering that left leg down to the floor, pulling the knee open towards that right shoulder. Really press the left leg down into the mat, relax across the neck. How are we doing right now? What does it feel like in that right thigh and hip? Gently cross the knee over towards the left shoulder. Maybe we feel a stretch in through the hip, maybe down the thigh. Again, I want us just to check in, like we're in an X-ray machine and we're taking pictures of each section of our body, releasing the leg down. Learning how the body's working today. We pull the left knee in, open the knee out towards that left shoulder, firmly press that right leg down into the ground. What does that feel like? And we'll bring the knee across towards the right shoulder. Notice any change in the stretch. Now it should be on the outside of the thigh, maybe up through the hip. We can also, just ask ourselves, does this feel different on the left leg as opposed to the right leg? Gently draw that knee in and lower down. We'll take the feet flat on the floor, coming into a few bridges to activate through the glutes and stretch open through the core. Shoulders come down, dig those heels in, spreading out the 10 fingers and 10 toes. We inhale, lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, slowly lower down. Activate those abdominal muscles. We want body awareness and control as we work up with our inhale and down with our exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Very good. Let's slowly work over onto our side. We're going to push ourselves all the way up and over here, finding tabletop. Making sure that you're comfortable on your hands and knees, spreading out the fingers, drawing in our belly buttons, nice flat backs. Practicing spinal balance. We reach the right arm forward and the left leg back. Slowly lower down. Switching sides with left arm forward, right leg back. And lower. Moving with our breathing now. Inhale right. Exhale down. Inhale left. Exhale. Notice how your balance is today. Inhale right, working on that shoulder and hip extension. Exhale lower. Inhale left. Exhale. One more each side. Inhale right. Exhale down. And inhale left. Exhale. Holding tabletop, finding ourselves in cats and cows. We inhale, open the chest to cow. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back up into cat. Inhale, untuck. Long necks as we reach forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back. Nice big stretch. One more time. Inhale and open. Exhale and round. Good. Pressing back into child's pose. Sink the hips down towards the heels. Extend the arms and release the head. Couple big breaths here. Checking in with ourselves again. Just noticing if we're feeling any stretch through the ankles, the knees, or hips, shoulders, or back. While we're here preparing for modified flow series, I'll ask that we inhale forward into our kneeling plank, shoulders stacked above wrists. Exhale, hover into baby crocodile. Tricep push-up. We inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, press back into child's pose. We'll do that 4-step flow again. Inhaling forward, flat backs. Exhale, lower, pull those bellies in. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, push back. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower, long necks. Inhale, press up, keeping your back flat. Exhale, into child's pose one more time. Inhaling forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Exhale, push back. Now from child's pose, reaching ourselves forward into our tabletop, sweeping the right foot up in between hands for runner's lunge. It's a great hip flexor stretch. We'll lift our hands up off the ground if we're able to today. Noticing our balance, keeping hips and shoulders facing front, reaching our arms up nice and tall. We can draw the shoulders together down our backs. And if for whatever reason that bothers our shoulders today, we'll take heart center instead. Now, while we're holding runner's lunge, I want you to keep your abs in tight, keep your knees stacked above your ankle, try to relax your toes, both front foot and back foot. Notice while we hold the stretch, we're trying to close our eyes. Take a couple of nice big breaths. Good, release the hands down. Sweep the knee back behind. Press back into child's pose. You can stay in child's pose or join me. We're going to repeat our flow series 3 more times. Inhaling into kneeling plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, push back. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, elbows brushing rib cage. Inhale, press straight up, flat backs. Exhale into child's. 1 more time if you're working with me. Inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, holding child's. On your next inhale, coming up into tabletop, Finding runner's lunge, sweep the left foot up between the hands. Slowly lifting the body. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Notice if we're able to retract the shoulders, that means squeezing them around that imaginary pencil in behind. Opening up this front hip, drawing the bellies in like you've got a zipper running up the front of your abs, all the way up into your neck, long through the arms. Close those eyes if you're able to. And then just remember about your toes. Are they long and relaxed? We're trying to avoid adding tension. So if you're noticing them all being scrunched up, just try to lengthen them. It's going to help with our balance too. One more big inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Sweep that knee back. Press back into child's pose. Now while we're here, let's get ready for down dog. We're going to curl the toes underneath of us. Lift the tailbone up nice and high. Pressing away from all 10 fingers. Now right away you may know a little bit of stretch happening up the backs of the legs. Go ahead and pedal the feet. We're going to stay here walking the dog for a moment. Feels so good. And just pedaling from right to left foot, noticing any stretch through the feet, the calves, the ankles. Now I want you to hold down dog, press away from those hands, coming into a full flow series. We inhale forward into plank. You can stay with your knees up or take them down to the floor. Chaturanga, lower the body completely down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Draw the chest up, baby or full. And then exhale, press back into down dog. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, chaturanga. It's controlled lower. Inhale, lift up, long necks. Exhale, press back, down dog. Child's pose if preferred. Inhale, forward to plank last time. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, lift up, stretching the core. Exhale, press back, down dog. Now from down dog, we're going to alternate leg lifts. Inhale, lift your right leg all the way up to the sky. You can have the knee bent if you want. Exhale, lower the foot down. Inhale, left leg. Exhale. Now while we do this, I want you to try to keep that bottom heel coming down closer to the floor. Inhale, right. Exhale, lower. Keep the arms and shoulders still. Inhale, left. Exhale. Inhale, right. See if those heels become closer to the floor. Exhale, down. Inhale, really flat backs, long necks. Exhale, once more each side. Inhale, right, belly buttons in. Exhale, down. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Oh, amazing stretch for up the backs of the legs. Now let's release the arms, taking tabletop position. And sit back into child's pose. Just giving the wrists a little bit of a break for a moment. While we're here, let's thread the needle, bringing right arm all the way underneath that left, laying into the right shoulder. Great stretch for the upper back. Couple of nice slow breaths. Working our way through the middle. Take that left arm under the right, laying into the left ear now. We're as close down to the left ear as we possibly can today. Notice how this feels up through the left shoulder and the upper back. And working through the middle, we're going to lift our thumbs up all the way high to the sky again in down dog. And then I want you to walk or step your feet up between your hands, coming halfway up into monkey stretch. Now with monkey, let's make our backs as flat as possible as we squeeze those shoulders together, long necks looking ahead of the mats at the floor. Knees are a little bit soft as we touch shins or thighs. Now from here, let's sit back into our heels, finding chair pose. Slight squat. Spread those toes, reach the arms forward or find heart center. Still drawing belly buttons in and backs are really long. Okay, from here, inhale, lift ourselves all the way up nice and tall. And exhale, release. Good stuff. Now I'd like us to come to the center of our mats, and we're going to actually step our feet out just a little bit wider. Making our way into sunflowers, working on stretching open through the hips. So with your toes slightly turned out, let's reach the arms up with a big inhale, and then exhale, scoop underneath. We inhale like the sun, exhale, scoop like the moon setting. Inhale. Exhale, just hinge at the hips, nice flat backs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale up. Exhale, scoop. Now in this next one, we're going to hold sun pose. We inhale up and then straight arms come down into your squat. Might need to separate your feet a little bit wider. We want our hips open, bellies drawn in, shoulders down. Now, just like Atlas, we want to hold the world above our head. Okay, so imagine you're really strong. You're holding the sun above your head. Really strong arms. Sink a little bit lower through your hips, long through your toes. We're going to feel a stretch through the inner thighs here. Strong through those legs. Just a couple big breaths. Good. Now, big inhale, lift up. And exhale, relax. Fantastic. What I'd like us to do is turn to the front edge of your mat, taking your right foot forward, your left foot behind you, pressing that left heel down into the mat, bending forward into warrior one. As we hold warrior one, we want to really pay attention to that back heel, stretching up the calf, lifting the body really tall, pulling the belly buttons in. Let's lift the arms, relax the shoulders. See if we're able to close our eyes. A great stretch for the calf. Wonderful opportunity to find our balance as we stand on 2 feet. Feet are about hips width distance apart, slightly narrower. Notice if that back foot is angled at all, as long as the whole foot, the heel included, is pressing down as we bend forward into that front knee just a little bit more. Let's open up into side angle. Turning to the long edge of your mat, maybe back your foot away just a little bit as we find warrior two. And then coming into side angle, we bring the front elbow onto the thigh. Okay, now we're really strong. We're using our core muscles to hold this position. We're never sinking into the shoulder. And as we lower the hips just a little bit, we'll feel a great stretch at the hips. Stretching the shoulder now, I want to do some arm circles. We'll bring the arm, extend it long overhead, sweep it down, lift it up. We'll do this 4 more times. Reach forward, sweep around, and up. Forward, around, and up. Keep the body still. Forward, around, and up. Last time. Forward, around, and up. Great job. Take a big inhale, lift up into warrior two. Straighten out both legs as we find triangle. Hitch this back hip. Reach that front arm long, long, long. When there's nowhere left to go, let the knuckles just come against the bottom leg. And that left arm can reach up really high to the sky. Trying to draw a straight line from your fingers from the ceiling all the way down, shoulder, shoulder, fingers into the floor. So you want the arms to draw a line that would be perpendicular to the floor. If the top arm is hurting for whatever reason, just take it into your back pocket. And while we hold triangle, we're getting a great stretch through the bottom leg. We're never resting the hand with, firm grip against the leg. It's just there, just for show. All right, everybody, take that big inhale, lift up nice and tall. Slowly, I want us to spiral all the way down into that lunge. Take your time. Sweep back into plank. From plank, we'll chaturanga slow lower. Inhale, scoop up into cobra. What a wonderful way to lengthen the back, stretch open the front. Press back into down dog or child's pose, whichever you prefer. Just take a moment to really lengthen the back of the legs. Long, long necks, stretching through the shoulders. And we can either step up or walk our hands up between, or our feet up between our hands. And we'll come up into half lift or monkey pose. Backs are flat, squeeze those shoulders together. Draw the bellies in. Notice as you push your tailbone out, we lengthen the back. We'll stretch up those hamstrings. From here, transfer weight into heels, finding chair pose. Sink a little bit lower into the hips this time. Reach the arms up towards where the ceiling meets the wall. And we'll take a big inhale, lift the hands all the way up above head to prayer. And exhale, release. Very nice. What I'd like us to do is come into that sun position again, finding a sumo squat. Roll the shoulders down, soften with the knees. We bring ourselves up, big inhale. Exhale, scoop into sunflowers. Inhale, lift. Exhale, scoop. Inhale. Exhale, get our blood pumping through the body here. Inhale. Exhale, see if we have a little bit more depth to the squat this round. Inhale. Exhale, we'll do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. You know what's next. We'll take an inhale, and as we exhale, we find sun pose. Also sometimes referred to goddess. We want to sit deeper into those heels. Maybe walk the feet a little bit farther apart. Keep the bellies in, tailbones pointing down. Arms are really, really strong as we hold the palms up, imagining that we're holding the sun above our shoulders. Feeling our heart starting to race just a little bit more. This is a big exercise. Gotta take one more big inhale. Exhale, release. Good. I want us to turn towards the other side of the mat, finding warrior one with the other foot front. Hips and shoulders are square. We'll bend into that front knee. This time it's my left knee. Right heel back. Roll those shoulders as we pull them down our backs. Arms can be tall or finding heart center. As we bend into the front knee, really press that back heel around, zipping up tall through the middle. Let's see if we're able to close our eyes and really focus on our breathing. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Relax the neck. Stretch that back leg by pressing the heel down into the floor, bending into that front knee. Very good. Let's prepare for our side flow series, opening up to the long edge of the mat in warrior two. Hips and shoulders now face the long edge. We bend forward over that left knee, making sure the knee is pointing right over the center of the foot, coming down into side angle. Front elbow comes onto the thigh, top arm up to the ceiling. We're not leaning. We're really strong through the body. Taking that big arm circle, we're going to reach forward over the head, down in front. Big inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Good. Couple more times. Now let's do one more just to make it feel really good today. Very good. Let's take a big inhale, lift up. Warrior two. Straightening out the leg, let's come into triangle. Hitch that back hip up. Reach forward with that front arm as far as it'll go. Hand comes down against the leg. Other arm comes straight up to the ceiling. Remember, if this bothers your arm, we take it into the back pocket. We're gonna keep our hips and shoulders facing to the front, never collapsing, and really try to keep the side body straight and flat. Keep holding. It's a great stretch. Really working through that inner thigh. Drawing that straight line from ceiling to floor through the arms and shoulders. Let's take one big inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften the knee as we slowly rotate down into lunge. Sweep back into plank, finding our chaturanga. Ready? Slowly lower. And we'll lift up into cobra. Good, let's press back into down dog or child's pose. And because I know it was requested today, we're going to add in our pigeon pose. Let's take that right foot up to the sky like we did earlier, three-legged dog, and then kick it forward up to the left hand, releasing the knee towards the right. and we'll reach that left leg as far back behind us as it'll go. Try to keep the hips and shoulders square to the front of your mat. As we come down, maybe onto hands, forearms. You can rest your head down on your knuckles or fists. And what I'd like us to do once we find that position is really rest into that outer right hip through the thigh. Take a couple of well-deserved slow breaths. Slowly coming up, drawing the hands up onto the floor under the shoulders, drawing that foot back into down dog or child's pose, taking a couple of breaths here. Noticing that each time we find ourselves in this recovery stretch, we get a little bit more length through the hips, the shoulders. Maybe if we're in down dog, up the backs of the ankles, the heels are touching the floor perhaps, or closer to the ground. Coming into pigeon, we'll take the other foot, left foot for most of us, up to the sky, three-legged dog. Kick it all the way up, right wrist. Left knee's coming as close to the left wrist as we can get it. Press that right leg behind, maybe double check, look over the right shoulder to ensure it hasn't wandered. And we come down onto hands, elbows, fists, whatever feels best. Stretching through that left thigh and hip. Slowly coming up again. We'll find ourselves back into down dog and child's pose, whichever one our body's asking for. Remember, it's super important in yoga that we listen to the body, not just do the pose that we think we're supposed to do, but the one that our body would really like to do right now. And now I'll ask that we come forward into plank. We're going to be lowering ourselves all the way down onto our mat. So getting there as gracefully as we can, readjusting if we found that we're not quite centered. We're going to take ourselves into a locust. This is spinal extension. We've been doing a lot of back work. We'll draw the shoulders in together as we reach the fingers down towards the toes. I want us to activate the abdominal muscles, lift the head, and now slowly lift the upper body and lower body off the ground, just like Superman. Squeeze those shoulders, pull the hands back towards those feet. Lift up really nice and strong here. I know someone asked for Superman today, so Locust is pretty good compromise. We're going to keep those fingers reaching for the feet, lift up a little bit higher. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Let's get ready for bow. We're going to stretch the thighs now in our back extension exercise. So with our hands coming directly underneath the shoulders, I'll ask that we draw the knees in, the thighs together. Taking our right foot, drawing it closer to the bum. Let's hold it with the right hand. I like to grab a hold of my ankle and foot. Now you can do half bow by just staying here, and I'll tell you when to switch. Otherwise, let's do both of them together in full bow, trying to keep your knees as close together as you can get them. Start flexing your feet, driving the heels up towards the ceiling as we squeeze the shoulders, and we lift those legs up, lifting the chest up as well. Now, because we're laying on our diaphragm, you'll notice that we might rock a little bit. That's okay. If you're doing half bow, I'll ask that you switch sides now, lowering the right arm and foot. Go ahead and bend the left knee in, grab the left foot with your left hand, and you'll lift up. And now all together, let's hold this for 2 more big breaths. One more big inhale, get a little bit higher. And everyone together, exhale, release and relax. Very nice. Hands come under shoulders. Let's lift up for one final cobra stretch. Really nicely done, everybody. Slowly, we'll press ourselves back into child's pose. Oh, you'll notice a lot of extra feeling, a lot of extra sensation concentrating in the lower backs. Because we did all of that back extension, we've actually pulled the vertebrae just a little bit farther away from one another. So we're a little bit taller than we were at the beginning of class. Now slowly let's lift ourselves up and we'll sweep ourselves over onto our hips. What we'll do next is come into a seated boat pose. Little abdominal work, keeping our feet flat on the floor or flexing them, personal preference, whatever feels better. Draw the shoulders down as we sit up really tall. Bring those hands underneath the knees. Let's lean back about 45 degrees. Really draw those bellies in. This would be equal to a V-sit in exercise class. From here, you can keep your feet down, or for anybody who needs just a little bit more, go ahead and lift the legs up. You can also keep your hands under your thighs, or you can reach them long. Now to add extra, we're going to add a flow, rowing the arms. I want us to reach the arm down, around, and forward. Down, around, and forward. We have 3 more. Down, around, and forward. Keep those bellies in. Down, around, and up. One more time. Ready? Down, around, and up. Slowly lower and give yourself a wonderful hug. All right, stretching the front of the body next in a upside down table or inclined plank. We bring the hands directly beneath the shoulders, fingers facing front. Take your feet flat onto the floor. Roll those shoulders down, creating lots of space through necks and chest. Let's lift the hips up as high as they'll go here. Soften the elbows. Looking forward or up to the ceiling, whichever is preferred. You can feel a really big stretch through the chest. Try to keep those hips lifting up, squeeze the glutes. Couple more breaths. It's a great shoulder stretch. One more big inhale, lift up a little bit higher. Exhale, slowly relax. Good. Now we're going to take one more seated stretch. This is our Turkish twist. I'll face the front. You continue facing whichever direction is comfortable. What I'd like us to do is just separate the legs. We're going to clear the canvas, so to speak, taking our right leg and bend it so that the knee is facing directly to the front. Okay, so you've got your knee bent and your kneecap is pointing directly to the front. We're going to take that left foot and try to cross it over. Now see if your bum lifted. We want to try to keep the bum down on the ground. For some of us, this might just be too much today. And if that's the case, redo your canvas. Take that right leg, keep it straight, and just cross your left knee over like we would a seated spinal twist. This is where you're going to stay. For those of us who are okay with the right knee bent, and maybe you're thinking, this is fine, this is easy, I don't feel anything, then you're going to take the next step of crossing knee on top of knee. Notice how my imaginary shoelaces are trying to touch the floor. So you've got your feet pointed, bum is on the ground, knee on top of knee. With your Turkish twist, we start everyone together by taking both hands on the ground and just trying to walk ourselves forward a little bit. If you're like me right now, you're feeling a huge stretch up the back of your left hip. If you're not feeling anything quite yet, don't worry, we all work differently in our stretching. That's why we all hold the pose slightly different. Now we'll all come upright, keep your legs where they are. Hands find heart center. I want you to rotate through the body, trying to touch that right elbow down to the left thigh. Look over your left shoulder. This is very intense for most of us. We'll be feeling a lot of stretch through that left hip. If it's too intense, again, back off. Straighten your right leg out front and take a seated spinal twist instead. Slowly inhale, come forward, and exhale, release. Now take your time as you untwist yourself, clearing the canvas. Again, just imagine that this is your canvas, your painting area. We need to clear it. Taking that left knee this time, bringing it down in front so your kneecap's pointing directly to the front. The right knee is going to come either up or across. Now remember, if right away you're thinking, nope, I can't get into this position on this side, that's okay. You're going to untwist, clear your canvas, left leg in front, right knee up, and you'll probably stick with the seated spinal twist here. Otherwise, with your left leg bent, right foot across or knee on top of knee, trying to keep both sides of your bum touching the floor. Imaginary shoelaces touching the ground, reaching your feet as close to the body as possible. We take our hands on the floor in front, a little bit of a walk forward as we hinge from our hips flat back. This time I'm feeling an incredible amount of sensation concentrated in my right hip up my back. In the Turkish twist, it's a really great stretch for those hips and thighs. We'll hold this for just a moment. Slowly lifting up, preparing to twist now. So we're going to take our hands into heart center. Leave your backs really flat as we rotate, looking over that right shoulder. If your elbow can touch the thigh, we attach it and hinge slightly, looking over the right shoulder. Notice we want to keep long necks. We never bring our shoulders up around our ears. Try to slow your breathing to encourage that relaxation response. Slowly inhaling, coming forward. And exhale, relax. Oh my goodness, take your time untwisting that. Fantastic. And as a special treat, rather than coming into Shavasana at the end, what I'd like to do is invite you to take a legs up the wall pose. So what you'll do, if you're not up against the wall, is you can just move yourself there now. Make sure your mat's right up against it. We're going to take Shavasana if you're not near a wall, don't worry. This is our relaxation, so I want you to be comfortable. But you start by getting your bum right in close against your floorboard here and holding baby stretch. This is just laying on your side like you're about to sleep. And then once you feel comfortable, I want you to get your legs both up. Try to get them as straight as possible. So your bum's touching the wall, maybe your trim on the bottom of the wall. Your legs are straight up. You can take your hands just onto your belly or out to the floor. Sometimes people like to cover their hands over their eyes if there's a light on, just to really enjoy this experience. And if we've chosen to stay on our mat, what I'd like us to do is make sure that we're resting comfortably in Shavasana. We're coming all the way down. Everybody together, we've got shoulders and hips melting into the floor. If your legs are up on the wall in this inverted stretch, we're going to help the blood focus in towards the heart and the head, increasing the blood flow, which is going to increase the response that we may feel emotionally. Maybe we were stressed before the class, or maybe we were anxious. Allowing the extra blood flow just to add some perspective, add some clarity, being more open-minded, more forgiving, perhaps, if we're feeling angry at someone or something. I want us to all slow our breathing. Whatever position we've chosen to take, notice how relaxed we're starting to feel. We're calm, we're safe, we're healthy. And thanks to taking this opportunity for doing our yoga practice, we were able to work towards our mental health, giving ourselves that time out from the rest of our day. Work towards our physical health, stretching our hips, our legs, our back, our shoulders. And our emotional health, just checking in. How are we feeling today? Maybe slow our breathing just a little bit more. These last couple breaths in. Now together, let's all just start wiggling our fingers and our toes. And if we are against the wall or if we are in Shavasana, let's take our time as we bend the knees, drawing them into the chest, slowly rolling over onto our sides into that baby pose. We can push ourselves up, just taking your time, especially if you are in the inverted legs against the walls. You might just feel a little head rush. That was a lot of extra blood. Take your time as we bring the head above the heart. Closing your eyes can sometimes help. As we find a comfortable seated position, we can just rest the hands on the knees with the palms open up to the ceiling. Finding that posture again, sitting up really tall. We'll just take our last couple of breaths as we conclude our class together. Fantastic. Maybe even smiling. Sometimes smiling can really help us appreciate the effort that we just put in. I know I appreciate your effort. Now, as we say our final goodbye, thanking ourselves and thanking each other for a wonderful practice, let's take our hands up to prayer with that big inhale. Exhaling down through heart center. Namasté.